Hello everyone, my name is Brent, and the reason that I'm making this video is 7 days ago I had spine surgery, and my surgeon removed and fused C5, C6, C6, C7, C7 and T1 discs. What we thought originally was going to be a hopefully 2.5 hour surgery ended up being 7.5 hours. Initially, the first symptoms that I started receiving that prompted all of this was about 2 years ago. I started having significant pain in my left shoulder when I was playing tennis and other sports. And so we took multiple MRIs and noticed that I was having some disc compression pain coming from C5, C6, and C6, C7. So we tried nerve block, I tried PRP, and some other alternative options to surgery. Approximately 6 months ago, I started getting burning in my left 2 fingers and up my forearm. And though most of my left shoulder pain had gone away, this started being a little more severe and started concerning me more. So I went online and tried to understand, what were my options, what were other people doing that were challenged with this, and I didn't find that there was a lot of information out there. So I thought, maybe it might be valuable to everyone out there for me to share my quick story, and maybe you could just learn a little bit from it. So we finally decided that surgery was going to be the best option, because ultimately the C5-T1 nerve was being compressed, and that's why I was feeling that burning in my left 2 fingers. And ultimately, if I decided to put this off, do nerve blocks and other alternative options, that nerve could be permanently damaged, which could impact my strength and just my ability to feel in my hands. And I just, didn't want that to happen. I knew that the surgery could be significant, but I was willing to take that risk. So my doctor is Dr. Pushak, based in Colorado. He was a highly regarded spine specialist that was referred to me. And so when I went into his office for surgery on 7 days ago, which would be January 14th, 2020, I was nervous. But I knew that if this went well, that I would continue to be able to be super active, continue to work out, play the sports that I wanted to, and leave a healthy lifestyle to be a great dad and great husband, etc., and not be hindered by these challenges. So kind of my experience was when they wheeled me into the operating room. There was probably 20 people in the room. They all assured me that everything would be fine, that they were here to keep me comfortable and to make sure that the surgery was a success. And as I mentioned earlier, the goal was to just have the incision in the front of my neck and be able to do all the work through there, even though C7 and T1 are right at about collarbone level. When my surgeon opened me up, they realized quickly that they were going to be needing to go in through the front and through the back, and told my wife and some of the folks that were in the waiting room that this was going to be a longer journey. So I don't know all the particulars of how the surgery progressed. What I do know is they went in through the front, and somewhere along that stage he realized that I have a condition called DISH or Forrester's disease that wasn't originally diagnosed. It's generally diagnosed through x-rays, and so what this means is that the ligaments that are associated with connecting the discs are actually calcified in certain parts of your spine, so it's almost like cutting through bone. So this added significant more effort to the surgery, and obviously significantly more time. Um, so by the end of the surgery, they wheeled me into the recovery room. I was pretty out of it, but pretty happy that it was over. They obviously put you under a tremendous amount of medication. And, the first night wasn't too bad because of all the medication that's given to you during anesthesia. Um, the next day, I was sore and basically couldn't move out of bed, hardly. I did go for a walk because they asked me to, and but as the anesthesia medication wore off, the pain grew significantly more, and I was taking oxycodone, Tylenol, and a muscle relaxant because one of the challenges that I was facing was that my muscles would seize up in my traps significantly all the time. And that pain was just as bad as the pain of moving and cutting the muscles in my back. I really didn't have any pain in the front, which I was told could be the case, that that's a less evasive, less painful surgery. By the end of the second day, I was in, significant pain and was taking those medications approximately every 4 hours, and they were doing everything possible to help me manage the pain while I, was starting the healing process. It was interesting because my main nurse, who was great and very supportive and very educated, basically said that it was important for me to be patient with this healing process because basically the amount of cutting and work that they put into me was probably very similar to being mauled by a tiger. I thought that was unique and different, but maybe had some comparisons and how significantly cut up and bruised I was. So I would say during this process the nights were the biggest challenge. You have night nurses, and you're trying to manage your pain, and it's dark, and you're not sleeping well, and you're probably waking up you're probably not sleeping more than an hour at a time because your body's just gone through pretty significant trauma, pretty significant experience. My suggestion is that you just take it 15 minutes at a time and just know this is part of the healing process, and make sure you're very communicative about your pain and where you're feeling it. I did realize that putting ice packs on the areas that were swelling and near the incisions and where the muscles were tightening almost all the time, as far as the ice goes, really helped. But to fast forward a little bit, so I spent 4 nights in the hospital and went home, that fifth day, and had to walk and show them that I was fully capable of managing myself at home, which I did. And so I was allowed to go home. One part of the exiting process is that they have to remove all the tubes from you, and I had 2 separate drains in my neck, and I'll just be candid, when they pulled those out, that did not feel good. So be prepared that when they do that, it's a positive sign because it means that you don't need your drains, but it was excruciating painful. I've spent 2 nights at home now, and I have basically slept in a nice recliner chair that I have in my office, which I currently am in, and that's been a real lifesaver because I'm able to adjust it and move it, and my family and my wife is here, but they understand that it's important for me to be comfortable and that I'm going to be probably up and down during the evenings. But here on the 7th day, I've only taken 1 Percocet this morning when I woke up, and it's now 2:30 in the afternoon, and I've been moving around, just happy, optimistic, and my movement's good, and really looking forward to not having to be bothered by nerve compression and the possible future issues that can lead to. I'll take off my neck brace. So I plan on wearing this for the next couple of weeks. I know it's unsightly, but it really helps you in having your neck feel strong and for my muscles not to seize up. But my surgery produced that incision in the front, and then hopefully I can show you this. This significant incision in the back, and because of the thickness of your trap muscles in your skin, the stitches go several layers down, but they believe that I'll have a full recovery and the scars will eventually be really minimal. And I fully anticipate being able to get back to working out and continuing to be stronger, be active. And I just wanted to share my journey with you. Please feel free to reach out to me on my YouTube channel. And I'm here to support, and God bless.